Chef Brian Henry is back with us in the kitchen to make another delicious dish for us. And last time you were here was 2007, now 2008. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too, Rita.
We're talking today about ice wine. I was going to say fruit wine for a second here, but ice wine, which is a very distinct type of wine.
It is a very distinct type of wine. And I just broke the cork, which is always a great start to the segment. Wonderful. Yes. We can always go to another one if we have to. It is very distinct. It's been made since the early 1700s.
Right.
It's been getting made in Canada since about the mid to early 80s. And it's truly one of Ontario's wonders, I guess you could say, on a culinary level. We have maple syrup, we have ice wine that are being produced here, and they're as natural as you can get. They're absolutely a treat to enjoy.
And Brian, we really lead the way when it comes to ice wine.
We do. We're setting the stage on a global level in competitions and such for our ice wine production. Look at the rich color in that. It's just beautiful. I'm
watching you pour this, and it's a lot that you've poured.
It's a lot that I've poured, yes.
When it comes to ice wine, though, when you're serving this, would you actually serve that much in a glass to somebody?
You could if you're going to be pairing it off as a meal. If you're going to be having a full course dinner or something, that would be fine to pair it off with that. Usually you're looking at about 2 ounces that you would serve because it is so intensely sweet.
And when we talk about the sweetness of it, what number is it given?
It can range quite greatly from anywhere from about 11 to up about 22, sometimes a 30.
And when we talk about the number system, usually on wines, if it's a 0, it's dry, and if it's a 4, it's considered sweet.
Sweet, yes.
For some people, very sweet. So when you go up to an 11 and 12,
you're getting into liquid honey.
Right.
It's quite syrupy. It's quite nice. You can even tell this is at room temperature. It should be served much colder, but it is quite viscous here. Part of the reason for pouring so much is I'm just going to add it into some peaches that I'm cooking off here.
Okay. Now, you can use fresh peaches, canned
You could use
peaches?
fresh, you could use canned if need be. Chilean fruit's coming in pretty strongly right now, so you can get fresh peaches in that would work quite well with it. Mangoes would suffice with it quite well.
Okay.
And you need something that is sweet but also has a creamy texture. We're going to puree it in the food processor for a moment. But we're looking for something that is silky that'll come out on the palate quite smoothly and pair with the ice wine.
And Brian, with the peaches here, do you just want this to boil for a couple of minutes?
We are. You basically put your peaches in, you start to heat them up after they're peeled and such. If need be, you can blanch the peaches to help get the skin off of it. But you slice them up, put them in, and start poaching them off.
And you're actually using a vanilla bean?
Now, here I'm using a proper vanilla bean, or a fresh vanilla bean, I guess you could say. And it's unfortunately a little bit dry for me. Nothing's working for me today.
And we just want to let people at home know that you really are a chef.
Thank you, touche, well done.
You have your own catering business.
I certainly do. I'm just going to put the vanilla beans right in and make life easier today.
And vanilla beans, you can get them anywhere. They are expensive, but...
They are expensive, but you get what you pay for with them. They do pack a lot more flavor. It's a distinctly proper vanilla flavors coming out in your food, so it definitely enhances what you're doing. Yeah, the flavors are starting to come up on that, or the smells are coming up on it, which means the flavors are developing. And you can see, just even from putting the whole vanilla bean in there, the little bits of vanilla are starting to come out here within the pot. Very nice. Mm-hmm.
And Brian, this is going to accompany a salmon, right?
It certainly is. What we'll do here is the salmon's just been poached. You could grill salmon and pair it with ice wines, but with the delicate flavors of an ice wine, I prefer not to grill it because the grilling sometimes can complicate the flavors.
Okay.
And so by simply poaching it in a little bit of lemon water, works well. If you choose to, you can go to poaching it within the ice wine itself. With ice wines, though, you're getting into the $40 to $60, sometimes $100 a bottle range.
Okay.
And so if you're going to be cooking with it, a lot of the finer restaurants are serving it with truffles and foie gras and things like this, and it's very easy to spend $300 or $400 on trying to make dinner for two.
Right.
So this is part of the reason for demonstrating this recipe is when we have a little bit of salmon, and we're doing a simple peach sauce, which has the ice wine in it.
And you've got your food processor
I've
there.
got my food processor
And again,
here.
Brian, when you poach the salmon, you're just boiling the water, putting the salmon in, and then poaching it for...
For that, I usually go about 7 to 10 minutes. I prefer my salmon a little bit more on the rare side on the inside, which I know isn't everyone's taste. I prefer it that way, though, because I feel that you get more of the flavor out of the fish, and it has a bit of a firmer texture without drying out.
So now you're taking the vanilla bean out.
Those I am. And just going to put
processor.
our peaches into the food processor with the ice wine. And I'm just quickly going to pulse it a couple of times.
So you're making like a puree sauce for it?
Just a pureed sauce, something very, very simple. The peaches will break down quickly, and they have sort of a silky texture. I like doing it with mangoes as well. And by simply...
And Brian, can you overdo it when it comes to ice wine? You've added
with
it
cooking with it, or?
Well, you've added it in the dish, so would you also serve it on the side?
I would serve it on the side as well.
Okay.
One of the easiest things to do with any kind of wine, if you're trying to pair things up with your food, if you're making a sauce, add a little bit of the wine that you're going to be serving for dinner into your sauce. And no matter what it is that you serve, it's going to pair with the food because you're getting the wine already in your mouth with the sauce, and then you're going to be drinking it as well.
Different kinds of ice wine that you've brought in today.
This one here is a Colio brand. This one here is a winery that is coming up from Halliburton area. They actually make maple wines, and they're combining it with ciders. This here is from Quebec. This is a ice cider, which is something new that's going on in Canada, especially in Quebec and Ontario, where they're letting the apples partially freeze on the trees, and then they're partially pressing them afterwards while they're still frozen. To make one bottle of this, you're looking at 80 apples.
Wow, to make one bottle, so you can understand why
so you
they
can
charge.
understand why they charge so much. And if this being an ice wine being made from grapes, if that's 80 apples, you can imagine how many grapes that would take.
Unbelievable. And of course, everything and anything you want to know about ice wine contained in this book right here.
By all means. Donald Zeraldo and his partner at the winery, his winemaker, Carl Kaiser, have come up with this book quite recently within the last couple of months. It's getting rave reviews. It is the authority on ice wine. Anything that you want to know about the production of it, tasting it, pairing it with foods, what kind of glassware to serve it in, recipes from around the world, and most of the knowledge that's coming from it is from Guelph University and from Donald's farming down in Inniskillen and Niagara.
And you like to cook with ice wine, but you make plenty more dishes too, don't you?
Exactly, I certainly do, especially through my catering company, doing home-based cooking classes and in-home catering.
And again, anybody at home who wants Brian to come to their house and cook some delicious meals, you just have to give him a phone call. And website is up on the screen for people who want more information. And Brian, thank you as always, and thank you for helping us understand a little bit more about ice wine.
No worries, thank you for having me, Rita.
And again, for more information, you can visit Brian's website.